So the good news is another 3 points. 3 wins in a row in the Premier League. However, the bad news is still no clean sheets, which I think is a problem. Still a little bit of an issue with the starting lineup. We're still not seeing Torreira starting. We're still not seeing Leno starting. However, we did get Aubameyang and Lacazette up front. So in general, although some things weren't so great today, I'm pleased, and I'm sure a lot of other Arsenal fans are pleased with that result. 2-1 on the day against Newcastle. They had a bit of a late flurry. You could have seen maybe a collapse there, but it was too little too late, and I think that overall it was a very, very comfortable second half. Let's talk about the first half before we get into the main chunk of this video, because it was really slow, really flat, nothing going on really. It was such a boring first 45 minutes. And I think we know why. I think whenever we come back from an international break, most clubs that have a lot of players leaving on international duty, they come back a little bit rusty, a little bit tired maybe, and not really ready to go and get back into a Premier League game. So sometimes you can expect to see that. We definitely saw that in the first half. But whatever happened at half-time with the team talk, and I think the substitution made a huge, huge difference. You know how I think Torreira should be starting in this team, and I still cannot believe how he didn't start today, because when he came on in the second half, although I don't think Guendouzi was the right choice to bring off, I thought Guendouzi was doing okay, maybe would have taken off Ramsey instead actually, you can just see the difference in Arsenal with Torreira on the pitch. We're a completely different side. He gives everyone confidence because you know you've got someone backing you up. Now, I get with Guendouzi, you don't really get that. If Xhaka's, looking back behind him and he's got Guendouzi behind him, it's a little bit of a worry maybe. If he's got Ramsey next to him, he's going to be getting forward. So, I do get it. Torreira coming on, partnering up with Xhaka and Ramsey did make sense. But I would still love to see Xhaka on the left, Guendouzi on the right, and Torreira in the middle. And that means no space for Ramsey, which says a lot. But that's because Guendouzi's made such a good start this season. I think Xhaka does have some fantastic qualities when he's partnered up with Torreira. And I think that Ramsey at the moment isn't in the best of form. I thought today actually he was very poor. There was moments where he just gave the ball away. He had moments where he was able to just make a clear pass and we would have potentially got a shot on target, maybe even scored. And he's just fluffed his lines, which is really frustrating from one of your most experienced players. He's the longest serving player at Arsenal right now. And there are talks of him not signing on a deal. There's talks of him signing a new deal. Some people saying that he wants to be captain, that he wants a lot more money. It's probably all true, actually. He probably does want to be captain. Of course he does. He's been at the club for so long now, and I don't actually think it's that bad of an idea. If Ramsey starts picking up form, if he does sign on, why not throw him the captaincy? I know that Koscielny's almost back from injury. He's now in training. He's playing with the ball at his feet. He's probably going to be fit sometime soon, and he is the club captain. And then behind him, we've got Petr Cech, potentially Mesut Ozil. Granit Xhaka is one of the 5 captains, as Unai has said. So he's a little bit down the pecking order, but if that's something that sweetens the deal for him, maybe we say to him, look, if Koscielny's not playing and Cech's not playing, you're the captain. He's third in line. Just offer it. Who cares? He deserves it. He's been at the club for such a long time. And I would hate to see Ramsey go. Despite games like today, where I think we're actually fine without him. And it wouldn't be a massive, massive loss if we were to lose him. But he's still a great player. And I love Aaron Ramsey. When he's playing well, he plays well. There's no denying it. One of the best goal-scoring midfielders in the Premier League on his day. But again, back to my point. Torreira has to start. There's no two ways about it, and I think today was maybe today it's Unai has made his decision. I think again making a change at half time. I think that's the 3rd game in a row we've made a change at the half time break, and it seems to me he's finally starting to work out the first team. And I think maybe now after today he knows for a fact that Torreira needs to go in because we were a completely different team. And I'm not saying it's 100% down to the fact that Torreira came on that we turned this game around. We went from really flat to being actually quite dangerous and really good defensively. I'm not saying that's all because of Torreira, but certainly a lot of the problems that we were having in the first half were completely disappearing in front of our eyes with Torreira playing. He's brilliant. I absolutely love Torreira. And when you're throwing 30 odd million at a player, you don't put them on the bench. And you do not play an 18 and 19-year-old in front of him. I know he's been great, but come on. We can all see it. Torreira starts. And if that means Guendouzi and Xhaka go with him, Ramsey gets dropped. It's just the way it is. Ramsey's not playing as well as the other three right now, I would say. It's just the way it is, isn't it? Another shout to a sub as well, by the way. Mkhitaryan came on. I thought he was brilliant. I think, once again, Aubameyang had a bit of a cold day. It felt like he wasn't really warmed up. He didn't really get involved too much. So I was sad to see him go off because there's always a chance he's going to pop up with a goal. But when Mkhitaryan came on, he just injected a bit more creativity there. He allowed Mesut to be a bit more creative. It just felt right. But Lacazette and Aubameyang up front, brilliant. I'm not saying that shouldn't be a thing because it should be. I'm just pointing out the fact that Mkhitaryan did come on and did a really good job. He was involved a lot. I really like Mkhitaryan. I love how versatile he is. He can play pretty much anywhere up front. I love the guy. He's a great player, so really pleased to see him come on and do well. Another big shout out. Now, I want to make a big point of this because he's going unnoticed, and it is actually kind of annoying me this because he's a new signing. Didn't exactly break the bank for him. Of course, I'm talking about Socrates. I think it was 18 million euros, which is, in today's market, for a top centre-back, really experienced defender, it's a bit of a bargain if you ask me, and he really is coming good now. He is commanding, he's great in the air, he's great with the ball at his feet, he's mobile, he's really quick. To this day, I don't know why FIFA... If you play FIFA like me, I'm sure a lot of you do, you'll notice that Socrates in FIFA has got slower and slower. He's not even that quick anymore. But why? Have you seen how quick he is? Have you seen the Arsenal speed results in training? He's up there with one of the fastest in the squad. And you see it on the pitch. Not many people get past him. And the commanding thing I'm talking about, you see him barking orders around. The guy's 30 years old. He's been there and done that. He's got all the experience you need. And he's making Mustafi better. So, huge shout out to Socrates, who has been unbelievable since joining and has gone under the radar a little bit because he's not a flashy signing. You know, a lot of people would have seen that signing and gone, it's all right for a couple of seasons, and then he's gone, isn't he? Who cares? If he's good for now, get him. Brilliant deal. So pleased with Socrates because, like I said, he's making Mustafi better. I've noticed a difference in Mustafi this season. The first few games, he was kind of his old self. But today, the last two games, actually all the games that we've won, I would say, Mustafi has been pretty good, pretty reliable. There's still a mistake in him, there's no doubt about it. And it doesn't help that Bellerin's next to him, who's of course a very adventurous right back. He gets forward a lot. That leaves Mustafi a little bit out in the blue sometimes. But hey, that's football. He's quick as well. He can get back and do his job. I just think Mustafi deserves a bit of credit because he has been quite solid. And the other defender on the left side, of course, Mr. Monreal. Fantastic again today. He's so good down that left side. I just wish he was 26 again. You know, it's a shame that he's coming to the end of his career as well. It is a bit of a concern, this, for me. We are starting to age quite a lot at this club. We've always had a lot of young talent at the club, a lot of young players. The core of the side have always been pretty young, let's be honest. And we've kind of hit a period in our club where a lot of our really good players are 29, 30, 31. It is what it is. We're just going to have to be careful. We need to start investing in some younger players, especially in January. I think if there is a chance that we're going to bring in some players, I would love to see a younger centre-back come in to effectively replace Chambers or Holding because I don't think they're quite good enough. I would love to see another midfielder come in, maybe a real defensive midfielder that can be there if Torreira's not fit. You know, just some other young blood. And potentially a winger. I would love to see a Bailey come in from Leverkusen. I would love to see a Coman come in from Bayern. You know, someone like that. But they're gonna break the bank. Simple as that. So I'm really pleased with the results today because it was important that we get back from the boring weekend that we had to go through of the international football. I just can't stand it. Why is it so early on in the season? It's like we just get into things. We just get into a bit of momentum in the Premier League, and a lot of clubs, I know for a fact, would have rather not had that international break because players come back in worse conditions than when they left, And yeah, I don't enjoy international football as much. The World Cup and the Euros, fantastic. And I know you've got to play games before then. I just wish you didn't have to. So it was vital that we got a win today. Newcastle can be tricky. So let's have a quick word on Newcastle, because I think that's 1 point from 5 games. They've lost 3 home games in a row. Not looking good, really, is it? Because Newcastle, they've injected a lot of cash in a couple of players, but they're not good enough, are they? And not enough money in total has been invested. Mike Ashley, I'm so glad he's not in charge of Arsenal, for example. I really feel for the Newcastle fans, because Newcastle, especially to me, I know I'm not exactly old, but when I was growing up, Newcastle were one of the best clubs in England. You know, at least in that top 6, top 8. You know, back in the day, they were winning the Premier League. The Alan Shearer golden days, right? They don't deserve this. The Newcastle fans, they do not deserve what's happening to the club. And it's worrying, because they've got a fantastic manager. They've definitely got the infrastructure to be big again, a big club again, a successful club. But with Mike Ashley in charge, with a lack of investment and performances like today, it's just not looking good. It really isn't. So I pray for Newcastle fans that Mike Ashley eventually sells the club to someone else, and they just get someone else that will love the club again. It just feels like it's his toy, isn't it, Newcastle? I think they will be okay. There's too much talent in that squad. Rafa Benitez is too good to let them get relegated. I don't see it happening. I don't think they're going to break into the top 10 necessarily, though. I think they're just going to be bubbling around 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, that kind of area. There were moments today where I saw flashes of good play, especially in the last few minutes of injury time when they got the goal back. And you know what? If they play like that, they'll have a chance to win games. It's as simple as that. But the rest of the game, they weren't good enough. They don't control the ball. They don't really do anything. They barely even got a shot on target. I think the 88th minute came around, and that was Czech's first proper save with a shot on target. Says a lot, really. So that's going to be today's review. Good to have the football back, that's for sure. Really excited to have my beloved Arsenal back, and of course to make these videos once again. So we go on. Hopefully we make it into 4 wins on the bounce in our next match. I think it's great that we're now level on points with some other clubs like Tottenham, for example, and they're going to go through a very tough period coming up with moving stadium. It's going to be a hell of a change in the dynamics of that club, so who knows what's going to happen. But after our terrible start against City and Chelsea, I was right to be calm, because it wasn't the end of the world. Those were tough games. We've now bounced back with 3 wins in a row, and things are looking good. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for another FIFA video.